Episode 107. We both said reluctantly. Is it definitely 107? I hope it is.
It's 107, yeah. I think that's what I have in my notes.
Better
yes, 107.
check. Okay, well, let's just go with it.
Yes.
Episode 107. So today we talked to the eldest of the Scott brothers.
Yes. Elder Scott,
yeah. He was blessed with brains, but he didn't get the looks. I got all of them, unfortunately.
Every so often the Nordy accent comes in.
Oh, you can hear it, can't you? It was bet into it so we were young. No, not really. So we talked to Damian about EV cars.
Yes, EV cars,
he's
electric cars.
Somewhat of an expert.
He's an enthusiast.
When we say EV cars, are we saying electrical vehicle cars?
Yes. That's what they're called. Electrical vehicle cars. Or vehicular cars.
Right, okay.
Maybe.
Could we not just leave it at electrical vehicles?
Yeah, but when you say EV, I'm going to get an EV, it sounds like you're going to hospital to get fluids.
Yeah, that's true. Oh, okay. Anyway, yeah, we did talk to him about EV cars. His best friend Elon Musk. We did a whole thing on the news was there as always. Yeah. We had our shell bombs.
He's just basically trying to convince you to buy an electric car.
Yeah,
that's basically what the episode's about.
He did a decent job.
He did, yeah.
He nearly got me when he talked about
I'm
the
going
car.
for a test drive tomorrow.
Are you ready? The car farts. So I'm on board. Okay. Let's try and name it, shall we?
Yes, name it.
Okay.
Sexy Scott sandwich.
Sexy Scott sandwich.
Yeah.
That's pretty good, actually.
Or plug me in, Scotty.
Oh, that's good too. I like Sexy Scott sandwich.
What have you got?
Well, what was Damian's suggestion? It was fully charged, I think.
Yeah.
But then you changed that to what?
Damian fully loaded.
No, Damian's full load.
Damian has a full load. There you go.
Oh, God. Okay, well, my one was EV cars. You must be kidding.
Oh, okay, that's good.
Do you like that?
But I think we laughed more at the...
Yeah,
he has a full load.
I think we got to go with it.
A full load of what? Well, you might ask. Well,
so
that's up for debate.
I usually nickname Damian. I don't call him Damian. I call him Damo.
Oh, Damo.
Damo.
Damo Scott.
Yeah.
Damo Scott.
So will we go with Damo's full load?
Damo has a full load.
Damo has a full load.
Yes.
All right. Okay. You can do it. Because you came up with the title.
Oh, okay.
So today we have Mr. Damian Scott on the podcast, episode 107.
Damo has a full load.
Yeah, waffle me this, waffle me that. Thinking of the topics that you all could have had. The only game that makes me feel so alive. I'm guessing for 30, it could be only 5. Getting them all would be a superpower. You could get it every week on the JB Waffle Hour. JB Waffle Hour. I love that song. JB Waffle Hour.
Hello, everybody.
JB Waffle Hour.
How was your weekend?
JB Waffle Hour.
Hello, everybody.
JB Waffle Hour.
I love that song.
JB Waffle Hour.
How was your weekend?
That's a bit of a remix, isn't it?
It is a little bit of a remix, yeah. It's the brand new version of the Waffle intro, which you said wasn't very new.
That's not the one you sent me.
It is, yeah.
No, it's not. Don't be lying.
It absolutely is.
Well, I suppose it is season 3, so season 3 deserves a new intro, a
Yep.
little bit updated because things have happened since we recorded the last one.
Yes,
You know,
absolutely.
a lot in world and in podcast lives.
I love that song. Just gonna say it.
Yeah, you get the line this week.
Yeah.
John is not with us.
He's
he's still on the planet.
Are we allowed to say where he is? No, or is that going to be a surprise for the next podcast?
He's away on business.
Yeah. Oh, I really want to say it. No, I'm not going to.
Okay.
Yeah, he's away on business. Grass
Getting
business.
down to business.
His hotel room. Holy moly.
Yeah, it was good. He posted some videos up in the WhatsApp group
Yeah.
and some weird kind of food as well.
Yeah, we'll give it away now if we talk too much about
yeah.
it. So we'll wait till he comes back.
Okay.
Yeah, sure. Do you, yeah.
Hello, everybody. We are back for
There it is.
episode 107. 107. I hope you enjoyed episode 106.
I did.
Butter me up, John Boy, where we talked about wind, not flatulence, but the weather.
It was a good one. It was a very good one.
Yes, I got in there with the name. I think I'm going to let you name it. I have an idea, but like,
Well, no. Look, that's not. That's
I've
not the way
got too many names.
That's
I
not the
have
way
too many
democracy
names.
works, man. If yours is better, you get to work.
Okay.
Survival of the fittest around here.
Well, make sure you rate, like, share, follow, and subscribe to the podcast wherever you see it, and interact with us. We love a bit of interaction. We like that.
Anything going on this week?
In interaction wise.
Yeah.
No, nobody interacted with us on podcast this week. Connor's one is doing exceedingly well.
Really?
Yes.
Have the gay community embraced us as their new
maybe.
podcast?
We've got a few new listeners, and there's a good listeners on that particular podcast episode too.
Brilliant.
But so it's all about interaction. We're having good interactions on Instagram. People coming back. People are liking our comments. We're being a bit whimsical on Instagram.
Yeah.
So our followers have gone up in the last week or so. So we'll keep that up, and hopefully we'll reach a magic number. I would love 500, but we'll see.
Yeah, very good.
Yeah.
We're flying.
Yeah.
Flying.
Yeah.
Like Bertie said, it's important that you engage with us because we just don't want to sit in a closet by ourselves.
No,
playing with ourselves.
We want to get out there and reach more people, touch more people.
I love touching people.
Yes.
Come here to me, Bert. How was your weekend, bye?
I went for pizza last night or Sunday night.
I saw that. Where was that?
In Monaghan.
That's a fierce amount of distance to travel.
It was an hour and 45 minutes from my house.
Jesus.
An hour and 10 minutes ish from Navan.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so
was that Monaghan? No, Monaghan town. No.
No, I will. I'll actually get up here now, and I'll be able to tell you exactly where it is.
I think Monaghan town's hour and a half, isn't it? Or if it would have been that. Yeah, no, hour and a half. I think. We were doing the Debs up there, so it was
typical now that I won't be able to find where it is.
Yeah.
Just give me a second. I should have had all this ready to go.
I had you. I was watching you on Instagram. I saw it on Instagram, and it was.
Yeah, so it was Ambledown Cottage.
Ambledown Cottage.
Yeah. It's it doesn't even say it on that. Okay.
You might consider giving them a follow, will you?
Well, I followed them on that as well. I don't think I followed them on.
That was a different one, was it?
On the podcast Instagram.
Right.
Okay. It is in Barrackhill, Glasslock, County Monaghan, right beside the hotel, Castle Leslie.
Oh yes, I know where it is.
Yeah,
I know where it is.
And it's really quirky because it's kind of in a house, and then you go into the house, and they have seats in the house, but then they bring you out to the garden, and there's like, I can't remember names of, but like the garden shed and the potting shed, and there's like little rooms in the garden.
Is this just someone's house and they turned it into a pizza place?
Pretty much it was someone's house at one stage, yeah.
That is mad.
So
what a mad idea.
We have a little picture.
And come here to me, how do you come across these places? Do you just look them up?
See.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah.
That's very good. Just take a picture of that up on the Instagram.
I will indeed.
How do you find these places? Do you look them up on Instagram, or do people recommend them?
In fairness, Sarah sees them on Instagram, and I think someone she knew was there years ago, and she followed them on Instagram, and then it came up again, and we were like looking for some place to go, and we just had a bit more time last Sunday than we would usually. I said, fuck it, should we go?
Just, that's great, yeah.
Yeah, pizza was really nice now. I think it's more tea rooms and coffee place during the day.
Right.
And it's not really a restaurant because they only do pizza.
Right, okay, yeah.
But they've got like quirky pizzas. It's not your standard pizzas that you in the normal. They're like different things on it and stuff.
Right.
And I think maybe they've 13 different types of pizza. And then you can get garlic bread for starters, or
Lovely.
cheesy garlic bread.
Love
it was
it.
really nice. And you can get chips, of course, as well. And then they have a few desserts that you can do.
Very good.
Yeah, for a restaurant-ish kind of thing that just does pizza, it was packed.
I'd say so, yeah. What, are they near a pub or anything there? Is there a pub?
Castle Leslie is basically like when you go down the street, there's the entrance to Castle Leslie, and it's just to the left.
Right, okay.
So they probably get a bit of custom from the people staying there, to be fair.
A little bit of a walk-in trade as well.
Yeah.
That's class. All right, well, surely we must... do you do something like that every week, do you?
Most weeks. It just depends on football and all that, and what's going on, and whether there's a place that you want to go to. Because you can't be eating pizza, of course, every week.
No, that's fair enough.
Yeah.
Can I tell you about my weekend? I have a really interesting thing to tell you about.
What happened in your weekend?
So we went to play a gig on Friday in the Clonsilla Inn in Dublin.
Oh yeah, I seen that on your Instagram page.
Yeah, and so what happened was we went into said gig, and when we went in there, the room was full of people with Liverpool jerseys on. And we were like, is there a match on or something? I thought it was
international break.
No, it was like international break, and this room was full of Liverpool jerseys. So we started playing away anyway, and at the back of the room appeared, I'm forgetting who they are now. Jan Mulby.
Oh yeah,
and Phil.
They were in the Phoenix Park at the Hillsborough Memorial.
Oh, were they?
There's a tree in the Phoenix Park.
Very good.
Yeah, I
and
seen a picture of that, and I was like, oh, they're knocking around.
Thompson.
Yeah, Phil Thompson was there too.
Yeah, so the two lads were there just at the back. We were playing a song. I was like, Is that Phil Thompson?
And what were they doing? Like a night with Phil Thompson or a night with whatever?
Yeah, no. In fairness,
Your man off LFC TV was there as well, I think.
Oh, was he?
Yeah, your man that does the presenting.
Oh, I didn't see him.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, they were playing out in the far side. They weren't actually down the back of our gig watching us or anything. They were in the room next to us.
Oh yeah.
So there's just a load of Liverpool fans there for that night.
I went to one in the Park Hotel once. It was a night with Jamie Carragher.
All right, so I'd say that was good.
Jim Carrey, yeah, and then they had like an auction for charity for sports memorabilia at the intermission.
They give out ponchos for the front row.
But there was
Casey Spitzner.
there was a few lads that had quite a few pints in them by the time the auction came.
Right.
And
Uh-oh.
it was like Joey and Friends. I'm not sure whether they realised that they actually had to pay for what they were bidding on. But they were going to wake up the next day because there was this thing, and it was like, it was really nice. It was like a Steven Gerrard signed football boot, I think it was.
All right.
I started at €500, not too
Take
bad.
that, absolutely.
Finished at 2,800.
Jeez.
And you're just thinking, he's going to wake up the next morning and he's going like, what did I spend my money on?
Steven Gerrard boot. Yeah, I mean, man, that's one of his boots.
And I know it was for charity and everything, but Jesus.
What did it say what he wore the boot doing?
No, it was one of the old Preds, I think.
Oh, man, I pay for that now.
Yeah, not sure I paid that much for it.
That much, but yeah, probably not. I've got kids,
Yeah.
I can't be affording that
There was a
stuff.
nice Seamus Coleman one jersey. What game was it? It was one of the Ireland jerseys. And it was signed by Seamus Coleman.
Very good.
And that only went for like 550, 600.
Oh, you'd pay that for that, I'd say. Would you? Seamus Coleman?
Yeah, but
Still an Everton player,
if you
isn't
went
he?
into a shop, a memorabilia shop, it's probably 250. And I
Yeah.
paid 250 for it.
Yeah, true enough. And he also plays for Everton. So
Yeah, well, it was an Ireland top though.
yeah, I know still.
Look well in the gym or behind us in the podcast.
It's possible that Everton might be relegated as well. Great news.
No, I mean,
Great news.
I still think they're on a decent run of form.
They'll be all right, yeah.
and
no, they
even
will.
with the -10, I mean, Luton and Sheffield aren't in great nick now.
Yeah, let's be honest, they're shite down
I mean,
there.
if they're only 2 points off safety, even though they got a 10-point deduction, if they come back after the international break and get maybe 3 wins and a draw in the next 4 games, they'll be out of that again.
If John was here, he'd be saying, "What are you talking about?" I know.
It's obvious when John's
Yeah,
on here.
it's where we just get into football stuff. Right, will we get into our news?
Yeah, let's do our news.
All right. I don't know if you saw this one. I thought this was absolutely hilarious. And there's a few times that I've considered doing this myself. I'll show you this. I'll bring it round to you. So a lad was it in Trim? No, he was in the
No,
Trim
it's
District
not,
Court. All right, but he was in Trim Court.
Like, it's not even close.
No,
Not even
no.
close.
He had a tax disc displayed. The tax disc was 108 days. So the driver, he's 108 days out, the original tax disc. So he decided to draw on the other side of the tax disc. And it said 0923. But the funny thing is, it's still out of date when he drew on the other side. So he drew in pen.
Like, at least if it was the right way around and he tried to make, like, what would you be able to, would you...
Yeah,
You might be able to make a 9 into something else or something, would you? Or,
yeah, but you know the thing about it is they're color coded as well.
Yeah.
So they can tell straight away if you're taking the mick out of them.
Especially when it's drawn like that.
And I'm pretty sure they can just put your reg in and check if you've got your tax. So it's so stupid. You put
I
710
feel sorry
of
for the
it.
person who thought that was actually going to work.
Yeah.
Because he put effort into it. He put like the price of a tax, the 710.
Yeah, he did everything like that. And the date down there. He clearly spent at least about 5 to 10 minutes in this.
Yeah.
So, like, I mean, fair play to him, in fairness. That's a good job. Better luck next time, though, because I think he got... the car was seized and a prosecution was to follow.
There you go.
Yeah, it's troubling times now. People stealing steak out of Aldi and writing up their own tax discs. All right, here we go. I thought this was absolutely hilarious, right? And the reason I brought this up was because when I was a little bit younger and a little bit more naive, I don't remember if it was the laptop. I think it might have been a laptop or something. I didn't know about search history.
Oh, right.
So I was maybe early teens, maybe, or
somebody got done with something to do.
mid-teens, yeah. And sure, you do the usual searching,
Yeah.
boobs.com.
Jesus.
And so this young fella, his sister and his dad caught his iPad searches. So he obviously doesn't know about search history as well and forgot to erase all of his history. So a lot of it was he was very interested in how people died. He was wondering if XXXTentacion, do you know that fella? The rapper?
Yeah.
If he was dead.
Oh.
And then he asked if Freddie Mercury was dead.
Well, they're all legitimate questions.
Yeah, you know, all grand so far until we get to barbecue sauce on titties was the one that he forgot to erase the silly goose. And
what way was he googling it? Does it work? Is it nice? Why do you do it?
no,
What?
just those words. That was all he googled, and then after that he just googled barbecue sauce. So obviously something happened, and then he just got hungry. So yeah, no, we've all been there. I definitely have been there when I was younger, and I got a rap on the knuckles for it. And I was told that my search history was, could see everything. Yeah, and to cop myself
Did
on.
you see about the young fella, the kid that the mother said that if he runs on the spot, it'll charge his iPad, and she wrapped like an electrical cord around his waist.
Oh man!
And there is he going flying, exercising without knowing that he's not actually charging.
That is deadly, absolutely class. Little parenting hacks. Were you ever caught out with something?
Didn't have one.
No, you didn't have a computer. But even since then, have you ever been caught out?
Oh no, I don't think so.
No. It's you're thinking. You were
I
thinking
remember
for a
being
sec.
on the computers in college, but like you're in a computer room or lab.
Yeah.
So like
And
all the worst you were doing was like Bebo and
Well, did you ever get
chat rooms and stuff.
Were you in Dundalk?
No, at Lone.
All right, I was in Dundalk, and in the library in Dundalk, if there was this thing that used to go around, people would send you an email, and it would flash up on the screen. You are watching porn. You are watching porn. Right in the middle of the library, and every so often it would go off, and everyone in the library would start laughing. Hilarious.
I remember when I got the first laptop and stuff, and I remember we were all emailing each other jokes that we found places.
Yeah.
Because you know their way, because you know Facebook or Instagram to tag people in.
Yeah, true.
So you're
yeah.
actually sending
The
emails
full joke.
to people. Yeah. It was weird.
Oh, hilarious. The good old days, huh? Back when it wasn't.
Yeah, I got me laptop, I think. I bought it. I didn't have it in first year, and then realised I kind of needed one, and I bought it in second year in college. So that would have been the summer 2004.
Right.
That was the first laptop I had.
Incognito mode initiated.
And then I got, of course, Football Manager.
Oh, of course, ruined your life, doesn't it? Well, for Will Still, it made his life.
I'm just finishing off project assignment there. What time's it? 11:30. I have a few quick games of football. 3 a.m. Shit.
Your whole day just disappears. I remember looking at it recently. It was free on Xbox, maybe last year's Football Manager, and I was looking at it. I was like, should I consider getting it? And I was like, nah, better not. Okay, my last piece of news. Sorry, I burped there. The coffee is repeating on me.
Oh, is that it?
Yeah. This one, and it will bring us directly, segue beautifully.
Oh, yes. I love a good segue.
So this Tesla car apparently picks up ghosts walking in a cemetery. Right, so here's the thing. If you look at on a Tesla, we can ask our guest about this in a few minutes. It shows when people are walking close to the car on a little radar.
Yeah.
So this car was driving next to a cemetery. I don't know if you can see the video. Did I include the video? No, I didn't.
The video would have been good.
Yeah, I could probably get it back up again. It's on Lad Bible, so you can look it up yourself on Lad Bible there. But it's got a little radar, and it shows you can see it there. There was two, but as I was watching the video, there's 3 or 4 people all walking beside the car.
Oh, that's weird.
But there was nothing beside the car, so it's possible that Tesla cars can pick up on the dead. Apparently,
they launched some rocket or something today. Didn't they? I seen Elon Musk tweet about it.
that was the other day.
Oh, was it? Oh, I only seen it today.
So did you see that it exploded?
Oh, did it?
Yes, it did.
Oh,
Yeah.
right.
Didn't get very far. And the let me see if I can find what that woman said. So the PR rep
The
for
Teslas are a bit flimsy themselves, aren't they?
well, we're about to find out in a few minutes.
Money you spend.
They look it, but I'm not sure if they are or not.
They're just slightly better than DeLorean.
Do you think? in that they can travel back in time. Let me see if I can find what she said. Rocket. Okay, let's see what she says. So, no, I can't find it. She basically said it wasn't a great day for SpaceX, that they had what they might describe as a catastrophic failure of engines, rather than saying that.
There's nobody in it though.
Was there not? No.
No, I don't know. Was there?
No, I don't think so.
It wasn't that kind of rocket.
No, I didn't see any
No.
reports of deaths or anything. But splody. All gone.
Oh.
Right, will we get
Oh, you've stood on something.
today? Oh, sorry, you're gone, are you?
No,
Oh,
I'm
you're
not
back.
gone. You just
Pulled your head. See, I tell you. Right, we get on to our main topic.
Yes, main topic.
With us today is not just one sexy Scot, it's two sexy Scots.
A sexy Scott sandwich.
Damian Scott, you work for Tesla, do you?
No, but I've purchased some of their products.
Like all of their products. You have 5 million cars. So you recently we want to talk about
It's American brainwashing.
It is, I'm telling you. Well, we'll see. We're about to find out if
You
it is.
living
or
in
not.
that boy, you wouldn't have a Tesla.
So we know where to fucking plug it in. So come here to me. You recently bought a second Tesla.
I did, yeah.
Why go Tesla? It obviously probably makes more sense where you are. Explain where you are and your journey.
Yeah, well, I've been living in California for the past just over 8 years now. Yeah, so we moved out here in 2015, just after we got married. And yeah, we bought a car when we got out here. You know, you kind of get on the usual big American car thing when you arrive in America, you know. So we bought like a kind of a larger
A Ford
SUV.
GT.
Yeah, I had my eye on a Mustang. That was
Yeah.
always the one I wanted, but you know, it was a little bit impractical, you know.
So
But,
that's where you've been. You moved to the States, did you? I thought you moved to Navan.
I don't know where I was now.
Oh, I thought you were in Clogherboy and Navan. That's why I just wasn't calling over. So go on. Yeah, anyway, go on.
Yeah, so you know, about 3 years later, whatever, kids started coming on the way, and we were kind of living in a like a downtown location, and my wife was at home looking after our first son, so she could kind of get to the shops and stuff like that, and all the appointments that you might have to bring him to, and I could still take the car to work. But I think he was about 8 or 9 months old, and we had to move out a little bit further. So you know, we plodded along for a couple of months with one car, but we really needed an extra set of wheels to so I could get to work, and then you know she could do the things that she needs to do, and there was no kind of clash or hassle in terms of doing those things, you know. So I started to look around for kind of a cheap set of second wheels just to get me from A to B, really.
Yeah.
And one of my buddies that had like a hybrid, kind of like a plug-in hybrid, and he was kind of saying, yeah, that's great, you know, you get great petrol mileage, and you know, I fill it up maybe once a month. And I was like, oh, maybe that's the way to go, you know. Then I started looking into things, and you know, EVs started to become more in the mainstream. This is maybe around end of 2018, start of 2019, where my company is based. The Tesla headquarters was next door, so the odd time you would kind of see the engineers there driving around with their kind of test rigs on the car, and you know, it was always kind of in the background of your consciousness. You know, it wasn't really that mainstream, but you're kind of going, that's pretty cool car, whatever, you know. But so you remember the whole VW Dieselgate thing where they were being naughty boys with their emissions testing. So basically the California Air Board, which is like a government organization here, they kind of set the standards in California for emissions. So basically all the big car companies take that as their standard because it's such a big state. You know, they're not going to make one type of car with a certain emissions for one state and then, you know, a different car for the other 49. So it kind of sets the way of things going. So kind of their wrap around the knuckles, they had to make cleaner cars. So they basically put out this little VW e-Golf. It was kind of a compliance car. Basically, they were doing like a box checking exercise, and they took the existing VW Golf chassis and they just kind of plugged everything that they need in and around that to, you know, fit in the batteries and the motors and all that kind of stuff, you know. So they were putting them out there, and it turned out it was like a really, really good little car for commuting, you know. So
yeah,
I was like, yeah, I'll give it a go. I'll go and have a test drive. It was kind of the size I was looking for. I'd always liked that size of car. I'd never had a Golf before. In Ireland, I had a Ford Focus, so I was like kind of like that, you know, 2-door hatchback kind of thing, or 4-door hatchback. They're nice, nice little car. I think you had a nice Golf there for a while, didn't you?
I did. I love a Golf now, I have to say.
Yeah, Golf's a class.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's like a little go-kart, and it's a great, fun little drive. And with the kind of electric motors and the battery, you know, it's really, really fast. So it's really good acceleration. So it was a great little fun car to drive. But
But there's no grunt out of it. You put your boot down in an e-Golf, it's just like, you know,
Yeah,
you want like the GTI.
Does it not moan upwards? Does it not go? Ooh?
it has a little whine. If you're
Uh,
if you're a noise guy, then yeah, EV is going to be different for you. That's for sure. But um, yeah, the performance is, instant acceleration is quite a fun thing, and you
I
don't
presume
really
they're
kind of.
all that's an automatic then as well, is it?
It's
Oh,
pure automatic.
oh
Yeah,
yeah.
it's basically two gears, forward and backwards. There's it's pretty simple, and that's one of the great things about EV is that they are very simple, and a lot of the complexity of a combustion engine is gone. There's not as many moving parts, and the maintenance aspect means there's not as much maintenance to do. So
yeah.
that's one of the main things. But
Ma-
yeah, I did a test drive, took it around the block. He said, here's a couple of little things that are different in terms of driving it. He was like, there's this thing called one pedal driving. And I was like, show me how it works and then I'll have a go. And yeah, took it around the block and I was like, yeah, let's do the paperwork. This is
No
this is
way.
great.
What's one pedal driving? Is that what does that mean?
So it basically means that you can just use your accelerator to accelerate. And
Yeah.
then when you let off it, it will start to brake.
Oh, I don't know if I
using the
trust that now.
Yeah. So and then that regenerative braking, the kind of energy that's created by braking,
Or the
that goes
charge.
back into your battery. Yeah. So it's a cool little system too.
But there is a brake pedal. No.
As well. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Obviously, so if somebody comes out, you need to, smack on the brake pedal there. That's always there. But you kind of get used just to kind of feathering the accelerator back and forth to kind of drive. And once you get used to it, you're kind of, it is really a nice way to drive.
How long has it been now since you've driven a car that has a gear stick in it? A bar coming home. I know you were renting cars when you came home. Oh, they were automatic as well, were they?
Yeah, after a certain point, I have a couple of trips home. I was like, yeah, whatever car's there, I'll take it. I was like, it'd be nice to drive the manual again. But after a certain point, yeah, I just got lazy and I was like, yeah, manual transmission is like, nah, you're grand,
America, love it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the things kind of rub off me. But I do like driving a manual as well. You can't beat that, and it has certain advantages. But just for the ease of kind of driving around, particularly in the States where it's kind of blocks and intersections, the style of driving suits the automatic, whereas you'd be clutching in and out all the time every block if you were driving around with a manual. So yeah.
And so, come here to me. Did Elon Musk then turn up at your front door and knock in, or did he send you an email, or what way did he get under your skin?
Well, I met him in a bar one night, and he was like, "Look, buy these things for me."
Because you've gone in big time on the Tesla stock.
Yeah, well, I said that e-golf for 2 years, so I did a lease deal here. So a lease in the States is a pretty common way of doing things, so not really a lot of commitment. And that was one of the things as well. I was kind of new to the EV world, and I was like, okay, let's lease it. I don't want to buy it outright, just to test it out to see what it's like really. And that was yeah, it's a thing a lot of people do here. And at the way VW were going about it, they're basically giving it away for nothing, so it was a cheap option as well, which is all I needed at the time. So the kind of lease for that ran out in March 2021. So I had that for about 2 years, and obviously we were well into COVID at that stage, and we were both working from home, and we didn't really need two cars. So I was kind of going, yeah, we had a kind of a larger Hyundai SUV, so that was like for hauling the kids around and buggies and all that kind of stuff. You'd need a larger car for.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, I don't want to buy another gasoline car, as they call it here. I don't want to buy another gas car again. I just love driving the EV, but I need a solution for moving around the family as well, So
Yeah.
kind of the larger sized options were all, there was a Tesla Model X, which is like 120 grand kind of thing. So
Is that the big square yoke that has all weird dimensions? The big Jeepy thing, is it?
It's kind of like a large SUV and has those kind of like falcon wing doors that pop up. It's pretty cool looking, but yeah, it was well out of my price range. It was like 120 grand or something like that, and that was the only kind of size of car that would really work for us. There wasn't that many.
They've come down in price though, have the Teslas? Because they're much more common in Ireland now than they were.
I think after that rocket exploded there the other day, the price of them went way down.
Yeah.
Because I would have seen like maybe one or two when you're up in Dublin. And now there's people in Trim and there's people
there's
in Avon
tons.
and there's ones out there in Fair Green now.
I have a real issue. There's a friend of mine that has a Tesla, and shout out to Ron. Well, his wife has a Tesla, as he always tells me. He's like he drives the other car, but I see the Tesla driving through the town. I give him a wave, and then every bloody time it's not him, it's someone else in a white Tesla driving through Athboy of all places. So it has really taken off everywhere, even though we've got feck all stations to really top them up on. You know, apart from the house.
Well, that's the thing. So basically, Tesla's mission was to put, an EV in every driveway of every house in America or the world. That's their kind of mission statement as such. So when these things first come out, they are more expensive. But, if you remember back in the day when you bought the first DVD player, it was like $1,000, And
it's always the way.
Buy them for, 10 quid or something if people even still use them, But
they do also say don't buy in on the first round of stuff because they're still quite working that out. The Tesla that you got, was that the first round of Tesla? Did you jump in with 2 feet?
So we got the first one in early 2021. So they just brought out it was called the Model Y. So there's the Model 3 and the Model Y, which are the more affordable mass markets options. And then you have the Model S and the Model X, which are the kind of luxury end vehicles. So, they're both $100,000 kind of thing,
Right.
So the 3 is the kind of medium-sized saloon car. And then the Y came out about 2-3 years later, and it's basically the Model 3 on stilts, kind of a bit higher, longer, bit more of a kind of crossover, as they call it, So you can fit a family in it, basically, and that's kind of what we were looking for. But they only really had the 5-seater version when it first came out, and we kind of needed a 7-seater option just for when we had people coming over or our parents were coming over. It was great just to throw somebody in the back going down to a restaurant or whatever it was. So there wasn't really that option in the EV world. And then we were kind of thinking about, will we go with that? Will we not? We'll kind of wait for a couple more weeks. And then literally it was the next day they said, we've got a 7-seater version coming out. So I was like, right, okay, let's go and test drive the thing and see if it will work for us. So we literally drove down to their showroom and we said, look, we have the worst case scenario. We have 2 baby seats. We have a double buggy. We have, all these bits and pieces, will this fit in your car? And your man looked at it and he went, yeah, should do. So I was like, can we try it? And he was like, yeah. So we literally took out all the baby seats and put the 7 seats out in the back and put the buggy in and all these kind of things. And the boot closed. So that was kind of the first test,
Would you try and freak them out and like have a pretend dead body in the boot and be like, we just need to see if these things fit? Is that all right?
Yeah.
Take it for a quick test drive.
These are my necessities. This is what I need, So I took it for a test drive, and the thing was it took off like a rocket. It was a big smile on my face. I couldn't deny. It was it was a nice car to drive. Again, that instant acceleration, the power. It was. I drove back into the showroom afterwards, and my wife was there with.
You had the credit card out the window, just handed it to him, swiped it as you drove by.
She saw the big smile in my face, and she was like, "All right, okay, he's buying this car, isn't he?" So that was it, So we downgraded from 2 cars to 1, and so we had that car now about 2.5 years, maybe come up to 3 years now, and it's been a great family hauler. It's been going from place to place for us, no problem. We've done long trips in it to say Las Vegas. When my parents were here, that was like a 6-hour trip, and we've gone to, a few places in that kind of radius. So,
our parents,
I know them.
So we've kind of put it through its paces, and it really hasn't skipped a beat. It's been pretty good.
Can you tell that it's got older? The way in a normal car, like your timing belt might need replacing, fuel filters. Car always feels a bit different when it's heading for like 70, 80,000 and then onto 100,000 kilometers. And is an EV car the same? Like,
well, that's to say the good thing with Tesla in particular, and there's some other manufacturers who are similar, but. They basically send you out software updates like once a month or every couple of months. So your car doesn't operate the same as it does the day you bought it. It's always, if you buy a Tesla today, And if you have a 3-year-old Tesla, pretty much inside it operates and feels the same as it does. Obviously, as they go through the years, they update certain things like, suspensions or kind of little things like that. But essentially, it operates and drives the same from day one to, the day you sell it or you pass it on.
So come here, do you think it's the same as, do you know the way in the iPhone, after a certain amount of time, they start bringing out updates and stuff, and the updates actually make your battery shite, and they're actually pushing you towards trying to get a new iPhone? Do you think Tesla will start doing that sort of stuff where they're like, yeah, no, upgrade this. It'll give you pink headrests, but really it's just draining your battery.
Yeah, well, if they do that, then they obviously, and somebody finds out, they have like a huge lawsuit on their hands. So
Yeah.
it's not $1,000 iPhones that you're dealing with. It's cars which are, a lot of money to invest for somebody. So yeah, it's a different kind of ball game, but they're always pushing out efficiencies, and there's always, you hear about these recalls. So if somebody gets their finger jammed in a window or a door and it's the car's fault, you might have to bring your car back into the dealership to get a certain thing fixed because of the safety recall, or an airbag recall or whatever it is. But 99% of the time with EVs now, they can just push a software update overnight while you're sleeping, and the issue is fixed for whatever thing it is, so that they can manipulate the car and the settings and the mechanics with just a software update. So
I mean, okay, that's cool and all,
Yeah.
but therein lies a little bit of a niggly thing in my mind. It's like, okay, they have access to my car.
Yeah.
Anyone could really legitimately have access to that car's software if they really wanted to.
It's like a transformer.
Let's not talk conspiracy theories here, but I mean,
it
like,
goes off and has its own life at night time.
all the EV cars down partying down in San Diego. But does that not worry at all? I mean, we've all seen the movies where the United States government have taken control of certain cars, and does that not get in the back of your head at all?
Not really, to be honest. No, like I don't think any company in this day and age is going to allow that to their consumers. Like they've built up their brand. They don't want to damage that in any way. But anything is possible, but it's not really something that you would think about day to day. And the thing is, as well, you can just disconnect it from the internet or pull out the little kind of cell phone chip that they have in it, and you can't connect to it then. So.
Yeah.
If that really worried you, you could do that, but
you don't think Joe Biden's listening or watching you listen to Shania Twain and farting in traffic?
Well, it would make for good viewing if you're into that kind of thing.
So I don't know if you saw this. This was
in 40 in the Tesla.
This was in our news today, Damian. I don't know if you saw this, but the Tesla, it was driven near a graveyard. It's trying to load here, but it actually picked up the presence of human beings walking alongside of the car, but there was no one there, type of thing. So it's saying now that the Tesla can pick up on dead people as well, ghosts.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. The cars have 8 to 10 cameras around it, so yeah, it's then you get into all that kind of full self-driving and autopilot and all that kind of cool stuff that it can do. So yeah, the amount of cameras it has around it is pretty impressive, and it's always recording. It's got a dash cam, so if somebody comes up and tries to smash your window from a security point of view, you can just hand that piece of footage to the police and go, yeah, here you go, it's your man, go book him, kind of thing. So or if you're in a car accident or whatever it is, you have the footage there, pretty much to show it. There's no two ways about it. Like I had the first car we got there, we had it 6 weeks, and somebody ran into the back of me at a traffic lights. It was a light bump, but yeah, they cracked the bumper, and the lady at the scene kind of went, oh yeah, I'm really sorry about that, whatever, and here's my details, and contacted their insurance company, and they're going, oh right, it's Tesla. And I was like, yeah, I have the footage, and they went, okay, no problem, we'll just pay, because they know.
yeah.
No denying.
Not to say. Did she hop out and did she admit it was her fault straight away?
Yeah, pretty much. There was no two ways about it. I said, look, I have this footage here as well, so if you try any silly stuff, it's pointless, kind of thing.
Did you put on the northern accent a little bit more as well?
Well, if she started protesting, the northern accent would definitely got a bit faster and a bit.
You bumped into the back of my car.
Yeah.
Is there an expiry on the batteries?
So yeah, that's the kind of the biggest what would you say, kind of myth or one of those kind of
Yeah.
things that goes around. John down the pub says, you have to buy a new battery after 4 years or whatever.
Mhm.
I'd say by 2010, I think the first kind of Nissan Leaf came out. They were kind of the mass market, first ones out, and they produced like a great little car. But it was the first generation. It didn't have a lot of the battery management kind of things that you would have now. So now you would have like liquid cooling and these kind of battery management systems which maintain the health of the battery. So, a battery is happy at a certain temperature. So they can kind of pump liquid around there to keep it there. It doesn't get too hot. It doesn't get too cold. Whereas those first EVs came out, they didn't have that. It was just kind of like air cooled, like a combustion engine car kind of thing. So those early ones did have some problems, and the batteries may have degraded quickly. But again, those batteries are still in use in like power banks or solar projects and stuff like that. They just didn't have enough charge to remain as a car's battery, but they can be used in those home projects. Like I think there was some Dutch football team got a load of Nissan Leaf batteries, and they use that as the power bank in their stadium for like powering the lights and stuff like that. So
No way.
these batteries can have a 30-year life before they would ever need to be recycled.
But if you had to replace the battery, like say you had your car for 4 years, how much are batteries? Because does it add up? Like, so you'd obviously have a couple of €100 on service, a couple of €100 on maybe other things in a normal car within 4 years. But would like a new battery be the same price of all that work that you would have done on a diesel car in 4 years?
Yeah. So that's the one good thing. A lot of the manufacturers now, you have like an 8-year warranty or 150,000 miles or something like that. So literally, if you buy a brand new EV, you're not going to have to ever really worry about buying or replacing a battery in a car. If you do have to replace it, it's kind of how long is a piece of string kind of thing. It can be anywhere from say 5 or 6 grand up to about 18 grand. So the bigger batteries are more expensive. So if you are buying an EV that's 15 years old or something like that, then it's obviously a consideration. It's a consideration for a combustion engine car as well. Like, am I going to have to replace the transmission? Am I going to have to get a new engine? So it's not too dissimilar to a regular kind of car.
And do you think that most of the time now with the electric cars is all going to be like new ones? That's not going to be a great like second-hand market because people just go buy the new one because they know, well, for 8 years it's going to be looked after. Like.
I think after a certain period of time when EVs become more the norm, or it's just a car out there now, I think people's mindset will adapt. It definitely is a mindset change from running an EV versus a petrol car, for example. The secondhand market is really only getting established now because the kind of early adopters and kind of the early mass production era, people who bought the first kind of big mass production cars are really only starting to sell those cars now. So say in the past 2 or 3 years, maybe the secondhand market's only really started to be established. But if you buy a brand new car now and you go to sell it in 5 years, the technology in that car is going to be a lot better than something that was produced 5 years ago. It's a very quick ramp up in terms of technology and changes over a couple of years. So.
And you were saying then about with the Tesla anyway, with the updates. So like even if you bought a second-hand Tesla, it's going to be updated and it's going to be quite like new anyway. Where like if you buy like I have a 17 Passat and it's got a certain dash, but I can't update that dash to a 2020 dash. Like,
careful, he's going to try and sell you his Passat there. Careful.
It's got a digital dash.
Sold. I want it. Give me it. I'll buy any car.
.com.
So, can I bring you through? I was having a look up just to see what the do's and don'ts are, or the bad things as well as the good things about electric cars. Can I bring you through some of them, and you can respond yay or nay, or tell me if it's absolute bullcrap or not?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, right. So the first one is range anxiety. Do you get range anxiety?
That's definitely a thing before you're buying your first EV, and the first couple of months of owning an EV. And it's once you kind of get used to it, it's really not that much of an issue anymore. It's like in my old Ford Focus from 2006 that I had. It had a petrol gauge with quarter tank, half tank, three-quarter in full, and you just kind of knew once you got to a certain point, like, oh, I better fill up, kind of thing. So you got to know what your car is capable of, but yeah, it's definitely more of an issue at the start, or if you're thinking about buying an EV, because well, particularly as the say in Ireland, for example, the charging station rollout is not as quick as it probably should be. So, that's definitely something that has to be addressed, and definitely something that the government would have to accelerate more, put more money into, and make it a priority. If you want people to move over, you kind of have to make the transition.
And what's the range on your Tesla?
So it's about 300 miles.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, so we got a second one there last week, actually, because again, we're out of COVID. We've two kids going to different places at different times, and mum and dad's taxi is a thing now. So
Yeah.
We got the Model 3 there last week, and it's kind of a standard range, and it's about 270 miles. So not too big of a difference, but it's like I drove to Palm Springs there at the weekend. I went on a lads weekend, and about 2 hour drive, 115, 120 miles away or something like that, just to kind of give the car a bit of a drive, see how it went, and yeah, it used I'd say about 46% of the battery on the way up, and same on the way back. So I just give it a quick charge when I was leaving, and it was good.
What is the charging point like situation where you are? Like, is there ones like at every petrol station or every car park lot or whatever?
Yeah, California is ridiculous. It literally there's thousands. It's it's not a problem to own an EV here, and in the States it is really good. There is some spots where you might be out of coverage just essentially, but you can drive East Coast to West Coast in an EV, no problem.
Yeah. Like, whereas in Ireland we have 4 charging points in the whole country.
One of my mates, Joe, he went on a 12-week holiday years ago to America, and he says even driving with whatever fuel he was using, that when you're out like in the middle of nowhere in America, you really are out in the middle of nowhere. And even when he was down like half full, he was thinking, oh, I better get a petrol station.
Yeah.
So like you have that kind of anxiety no matter what fuel you use, especially in somewhere like America, because like in Ireland you're thinking like 3 hours and you're gone from like Dublin to Galway, and you've gone through loads of cities, where you're probably traveling 3 hours in a row and you might go through town.
Yeah.
Different ball game. Yeah. Now that you've gone up to 2 cars now, do you have any charging problems? There's another one here. Second one's charging problems. So do you have 2 chargers, or you still just have the one?
Just one. So say when I got it last week, so we only had to charge it, but literally if one of them needs to be charged, we just put that one in the garage for the night and charge it and just swap it around. It's not really too much of an issue. Like say a full charge would do us 4 or 5 days, kind of usual dropping off kids to school or going to work and what have you. The weekend we might charge it again, because you have various activities and what have you. You do a bit more at the weekend, but maybe once a week would be kind of the average, or maybe twice a week at most to charge the car. So yeah, it's not really a consideration. Just plug it in when you get home at night, and it does it overnight, and you wake up in the morning to your full kind of range there again. So yeah, it's pretty effortless.
So you don't go to bed, plug in the car, and then you come down and it's plugged into Sinead's car, and you have to give out to her for plugging out the charger. You plugged out my phone. How am I meant to get to work now? The environmental impact lie is what I'm seeing here. It says here the zero emissions lie is likely the main reason why EVs are bad, is what it says. The zero tailpipe emissions claim is valid, but you must also account for the damage an electric vehicle does. We're not talking about on a macro level, but it uses regular tires, and tires are a big polluter as well. Heavy cars wear out more rubber quickly, and that what's the other one here? Yeah, that there's to create the electricity for it, there obviously has to be turbines, wind power. You still have to run the same amount of stuff to create the electricity to put that into the car as well, so that the environmental impact is probably as much as what they're saying as a diesel or petrol car. Yeah, so that's always the big kind of talking point or argument when people are
trying to be negative, I think, about EVs, but there's some very smart people who've done the analysis and done the data, and like there literally is no contest. The EV over the lifetime is many times over better for the environment. So if you think about the supply chain end to end of the fuel, for example, that's always the big one, or even say creating a car. So there is a bigger carbon footprint for creating an EV versus a regular combustion engine car. So that's indisputable. It is a bit more to do that. So you have a bit more upfront there to kind of take care of as such, if you're looking at the carbon footprint aspect. But then you look at the kind of supply chain end to end of the fuel then to power that. So you're either going to have a coal plant, which is generating the electricity, natural gas, hydroelectric, and then of course you can have your own solar or wind projects as well. So for example, in Ireland there's a fuel mix there, which is pretty decent. Actually, Ireland is pretty good. If you do own an EV, there's not that much coal. There would be maybe about 40% or so is natural gas, which still a fossil fuel, but it does burn a lot cleaner. And then of course in Ireland we have a lot of wind turbine power that we get. So there's the what are they called, air grid. They own the grid in Ireland, so there's a dashboard online there at any time. You can go and look at it and you can see what the fuel mix is for the grid. And at nighttime it's usually about 60% renewable. So that's when most EV owners will be charging their cars overnight, and that's when the grid is cleanest and there's a load of capacity there because everybody's in bed. The electricity demand is way down, so we have a lot of spare capacity there at nighttime, which is usually more green energy. For example, somewhere like Poland or even Germany, where they have a very high percentage of coal plants generating their electricity, you will have obviously a bit of a higher carbon footprint. But if you then flip it over to look at the combustion engine and the supply chain of how your liter of petrol gets into your tank, it's just massive. It's at literally every step. You've got to extract that oil from either the ocean or in an oil field somewhere. You've got your drilling rig or your, what do you call it, the jack pump or whatever, the pump jack. If you're in an oil field, you have to then either ship that in a big shipping tanker, which uses like the dirtiest bunker fuel. It's those cargo ships that are one of the biggest polluters out there. Then you have to then refine that, which then takes a lot of energy and that refinement, and a lot of chemicals and things like cobalt, for example, are used in that process to remove the sulfur content from your oil before you turn it into petrol. So, and then you have to put it in tankers to get it to your petrol station, and then you have to burn it in your car. And I think the combustion engine is about 30% efficient. So if you're paying €1 for your liter of petrol, you're only really getting 30 cents worth of that energy to turn the piston. So about 70% is lost through heat loss. So it's everywhere along that supply chain. There's so much energy used, so much pollution, and it's that will never get cleaner. Whereas the electricity grid can always get cleaner. It's only going to get cleaner as we go along. And I don't think anybody is claiming that an EV is green 100% right away. It's a process that will take a while, but in terms of the environment, it is the better path.
He's definitely done his research, hasn't he?
He has, yeah.
It's one of these things where he got the EV car and he's like, shit, I have to justify this now.
And just so you know, he doesn't work for Tesla.
I think he does. Okay, so
I work in technology, so I've always been into kind of technology and how things work, and digging underneath the whatever process there is, and reverse engineering, tinkering with things. So I always like to dig into those kind of issues.
Definitely that. Anyway, can I give you I'll give you the last one here. The bad thing about owning an EV. It says here that EV owners are the bad thing about owning an EV. They say electric car owners are one of the main reasons electric cars are bad. Nobody likes a smug person, and people don't want to be told what to do. Not all EV owners are bad, however. Some buy an EV for the same reasons we would, because a Mini Cooper electric hardtop is one of the most fun and efficient ways to to complete a 50-mile commute. It's as simple as
Oh.
that. But
Yeah.
they say that there's a cult-like thing around EVs. Do you ever pull up at a traffic lights, look over and see another Tesla driver, just give them a little wink and be like, yeah, we're saving the earth?
As Bertie was saying there in Ireland, like Tesla was obviously it's kind of expanded majorly in the past couple of years. So that's
Yeah.
definitely something you'd probably do in Ireland. But here in California, it's literally
Just
if you pull
everywhere.
up a four-way intersection, there's going to be 10 Teslas there or 10 EVs. You know, Hyundai and Volkswagen, all these companies are doing really good deals now. So yeah,
Everyone's
it'll be
EV.
I don't
here.
like the look of the Tesla though.
Right.
I don't like the styling of it. I have nothing against EV cars, and I actually would like to get one. I just currently can't
Mm.
afford a new car.
Yeah.
But I think I like the Volkswagens. Well, I have a Volkswagen anyway, but I think they look nicer, and there's a few of the Hyundais that look nicer, I think, than the
Mm.
Tesla design of them. That's just me.
Yeah, the design and how things look is always a personal preference, you know, and yeah, there's certain cars that I wouldn't like or wouldn't touch, but you know, other people might. But yeah, I think Hyundai are making really good looking cars. They have that Ioniq 5, which
Yeah, it's
is pretty
nice.
a lot of them in Ireland. And they have another one, Ioniq 6, which yeah, it's a bit of a Marmite car. It's kind of like a balloon kind of thing. The back of it looks like a Porsche 911, but when you get to the side of it, it's kind of like, oh no, not for me. But but yeah.
Right, come here to me. So we'll do the waffle game, but before we do the waffle game, Damien, can you give me some like cool features of the Tesla? Give me maybe 2 or 3 cool features that maybe people don't know about with the Tesla.
So yeah, they have this autopilot or full self-driving. So the terminology full self-driving is a bit of a misnomer. You know, it's really a driver assist. You don't kind of sit there after you get out of the pub and it drives you home. We're not there yet. But
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. So with that, then you can it's basically like traffic aware cruise control. So it will see how far the car in front is, and if it brakes, it will slow down and all that kind of stuff. And then it does lane centering, so it will steer the car for you as well. But if
Mm.
you add in the full self-driving, you can basically just put in the destination that you're going to, and once you get onto the highway, you know, it literally just drives the car for you. You know, it'll even overtake and move in and out of lanes and all that kind of stuff. So
And puts
on
the
the longer journey, that's great. Like you get there and you're pretty refreshed. Whereas, you know, if you've just done a 6 hour drive in a manual car, you know, your left leg is feels like a breeze
It
pump, you
it
know.
it only took 20 years longer than the movie Time Cop said it would.
That's true. Yeah, yeah, yeah. The self-driving car.
Yeah, that was 2004. It was 10 years into the future from 1994 from that movie. There you go. Now.
They were looking into the future on that one. No, but the does it turn on Netflix and push your chair back when it goes into self-drive mode, or what's the story there?
Well, that's the thing when you go to charge, say 15-20 minute charge you might have on say a long road trip. It does have Netflix and Disney Plus and all that kind of
That's
stuff there.
mad.
Especially to keep kids entertained, you know, if there's no facilities at the charger or whatever.
And
The entertainment stuff is pretty cool on it, and yeah, it is made by nerds, so there's all these kind of little Easter eggs in it and stuff, and you know, it makes fart noises to keep the kids entertained and
Class.
all that stuff. You know, it's yeah, there's some good fun things in it
Sold.
like that.
I want it.
I know it's not an issue for you where you live, but on a frosty morning, can you turn it on from the house?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you can set it. Okay, I'm going to leave at 8 a.m. Have the seats kind of warm, have the air conditioning up. I want the car. It's 22 degrees. I want it hot. Yeah, it's just there. Jump in, where you go. So there's a lot of cool things like that. You can schedule all that, and you can when you're on a long journey, for example, you can just put in the destination, and it'll figure out all your charging stops if you need to charge, and it'll kind of keep you updated on how many open stalls there is at the charger when you kind of get closer, and it will start to kind of precondition the battery so you can charge faster as well. So if you're charging with a cold battery, it's going to take longer than if it's at the perfect temperature. So yeah,
Well,
there's a lot of cool like
Tesla
that.
charging stations are their own personal ones, are they? You can't like charge a Tesla at a normal one, is it?
You can, but
Oh.
the other cars can't charge at a Tesla stations mostly, but they are opening up some in Europe. They've opened up in Germany and Holland in certain areas where that are kind of busy areas as such. So they basically say we'll charge non-Tesla owners more, so we can then take that money and build more charging stations.
Yeah.
How did it operate in the cold?
Which?
Teslas, like battery cars in general.
Well, he wouldn't know. He doesn't fucking live in the cold.
No.
Well, it gets cold here in comparison to the summer. So yeah, once we get to this time of year, kind of November, when you get into the car in the morning, if you didn't precondition it as such, it would take a little while for the battery to kind of warm up, and that's where it operates kind of optimally, is when it's at a certain temperature. But yeah, winter climates, you probably lose maybe 10 or 15% of your range. That is a concern, all right. But again, it's the same for a petrol car. They're not as efficient in the winter either. So it's just that you're relying on chargers, and it's that mindset change is the biggest thing to kind of get over. It's like charging your phone at night versus having to run to a petrol station to charge your phone every couple of days. You kind of have to get out of that mindset.
My final question for you, Damon. Can you program the car to call you Michael and have a little red line going across the middle? Hello, Michael.
Well, that's I don't think you can do that, but that's the fun thing. There's lots of customizations you can do these days. So I have seen some EVs around where it's like the boy racer version of it with the big flared kind of wings and stuff like that, and completely pimped out. But it's
and a CD playing.
All right, Bertie, do you want to do Damien? I trust, seeing as you're probably the only person who listens to the podcast, that you know what the Waffle Game is.
I do, yeah.
It's that time, you know the name. It's the reason we all came. Find the words that are the same. It's that time to play the Waffle Game.
Well, am I Scotty number one, or is he? Technically, he is. He came along first.
Well, I knew you first, so that's the order I'm going to.
Yeah.
Right.
As usual with our guests, we tend to play into their wheelhouse. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
So mine's all about Tesla and Everton. Is that what it is?
So, in 30 seconds, can you name not just the make, but the model of 5 EV cars?
30 seconds.
Started?
Yes.
Hyundai Ioniq 5, VW ID4, Tesla Model 3, Tesla Model Y, Tesla Model S, Tesla Model X, Nissan Leaf, Renault Zoe, Chevy Bolt. What else we got? Polestar 2.
5 seconds.
What are the others? Oh, mine's gone blank.
Time. Nice.
That was solid.
Was it pretty solid? Yeah.
It was pretty solid. 3 out of 5.
Oh, it's pretty good.
Yeah, 3 out of 5.
What did I
So
get?
you had Volkswagen ID4,
Mhm.
Nissan Leaf, Tesla Model X, and I also had BMW i3 and Audi e-tron.
Oh, yeah.
Or sorry,
Awesome.
Audi e-tron.
Yeah.
There you go. So they're the 5 I had. 3 out of 5 though, that's solid.
That's pretty good for a guest. Usually when the guests come on, they get 0.
You didn't win the €1,000, but
Oh, damn.
Wait, what is €1,000? No, it's krones, isn't it?
It's
Swedish
krones.
krones. Yeah,
Swedish
that's about €4.
we'll post you what am I looking for?
We don't have to. My parents are going over to him actually in the next.
Oh,
next
your
few
parents?
weeks.
Oh, same parents.
Yeah, we've the same parents actually. Yeah,
We'll send you over the poster.
yeah. There's a waffle coaster coming over to you. I'll stick it in mum and dad's luggage.
I'll proudly set my cup of tea on it.
All right, Damien. Thanks very much for coming on, Damian Scott of Tesla Motors.
Covered.
Thanks for coming on the podcast, Damien.
Thanks, David.
No problem. Thanks, guys.
Cheers, man. Love you. Shellbomb time. Do you want to go first, or will I go first?
You can go first if you want.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Because mine are pretty bad. I'm just actually following on from last week, but they are car related as well.
Oh, excellent.
So did you know in Denmark that you must, by law, check under your car before you drive away from anywhere?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so Danish motorists are required by law to check under their car before they're setting off.
What are you looking for?
In case children or animals are hiding underneath. I wonder what got to that point where they were like, we have lost over 75 kids in the last month. Please check under your car.
I think that's the way they
Someone ran over the Little Mermaid. Okay, the last one then. I've got another car-related one. Keep a rope and a tow bar handy in Serbia. This one is probably in lieu of the NCT. Serbian motorists must keep a strong rope and a tow bar in their car at all times. This doesn't instill us with confidence, though, in the cars of Serbia. So it's to tow other cars.
What, the Lancias or something?
Yeah. God help them.
So another where this phrase has originated from. So have you ever heard of the phrase run amok?
Oh yeah.
Now I thought it was like run amok as in M-U-C-K, muck,
As in muck that you
Yes.
have in your boots, like.
but it is not. It's A-M-O-K.
All right.
Yeah, run amok. Is there are.
It's okay.
It comes from the Mali word men amok, which means to make furious and desperate charge. Captain Cook is credited with making the first outside observations and recordings of amok in Mali tribesmen in 1770 during his around the world voyage.
Whoa,
So run amok.
that's amazing. I literally thought it was about muck,
Yep, just running in the muck and having the crack. But
destroying
it
the
is not.
place. There you go.
There
Very
you
good.
go.
Shell bombs.
Shell bombs.
The chain